Online Tibetan Language provides regular online sessions in order to promote and preserve Tibetan Buddhism, language and culture. To speak more on the topic, we have with us Tenzin Woden, the co-founder of Online Tibetan Education, residing in the US. Tenzin Woden, it's so nice to have you here. Thank you so much for being a part of Tibet TV.
Thank you so much for having me and OTE on your program.
So it has been about 10 years since Online Tibetan Education started. Initially, it started with online Buddhism classes, and then you had a similar format for online Tibetan language classes. Now, both these formats are grouped together under Online Tibetan Education, which is now focusing not just on Tibetan Buddhism and language, but also on other aspects of Tibetan identity. So, can you tell us more about Online Tibetan Education and the programs that you have?
We began in 2011, and this year actually marks our 10th anniversary. I am one of 6 members. Our members include Geshe Lobsang Targela, my mom Tutim Tenzila, my sister Chimi Dogala, Tenzi Dekyola, and Tenzi Gochala. And all of our members work on a volunteer basis, which while still continuing with our full-time careers. So over the 10 years, we've hosted several Buddhism classes as well as Tibetan language courses for all levels, and we continue to host them every year. We also host annual in-person retreats. And since the pandemic, we've also been hosting monthly Lakar sessions focusing on our 3 pillars, which are Tibetan language, Buddhism, and culture. And we actually have our May Lakar session coming up next week, which will be on understanding Tangas, which are Tibetan Buddhist paintings. And this will be led by Gin Hishidojila. And we recently also began exploring this space called Clubhouse, which is an audio-based social networking site where people can join clubs of their interest. And on Clubhouse, we hosted daily morning prayers during the first 15 days of Sagadawa. And every Mondays, we continue to host weekly Tibetan reading sessions. Amongst us 6 members, we aim to provide regular sessions to all who are interested in the Tibetan Buddhism, language, and culture.
So even before the pandemic started, your programs and your sessions were anyway through the online medium. And ever since, the world has been experiencing lockdown because of the Wuhan-originated coronavirus. There are so many people who are engaged on the internet. So in your programs, you already have experts talking about mindfulness. You have experts talking about emptiness. And these are the topics that people would want to hear during this time of crisis. What is Online Tibetan Education doing to reach to a larger audience, and what other programs they have which is helpful to our viewers regarding the pandemic?
We actually saw the advantage of learning virtually very early on. In fact, we were probably one of the first few Tibetan organizations to offer educational programs virtually. So we started with WebEx and Facebook, and today, to reach a larger audience, we've become more active in several social media platforms such as Instagram and Clubhouse. Prior to the pandemic, we were only on Facebook, where we were able to reach out to most of our older audiences from all over the world. However, once we established our OTE Instagram account, we started to see more participations from the Tibetan youth. Regarding programs surrounding pandemic, we began hosting several sessions focusing on mental health wellness through Buddhism. And actually, even before the pandemic, we were already offering a 3-month-long meditation and mindfulness program, which was led by Gin Chok Tenzimolam. And when the pandemic happened, we started seeing growing interest in this field, which only reaffirmed the need to have more sessions like these. So we hosted sessions like Introduction to Emptiness by Geshe Thupten Jimbala, Lakar sessions focusing on how to deal with conflicts in our daily lives, which is led by Geshe Lobsang Dargela, and also Mindfulness in Workplaces by Pema Sharpala. And we've also created contents on Instagram with terminologies in Tibetan surrounding mental health. And separately from the pandemic, recently with the rising cases in Asian hate crimes, we created content on how the youth can communicate with our elders in Tibetan to ensure that they feel safe. So not just the pandemic, we aim to provide tools for our audience on how to cope with situations that they're in through learning Buddhism, the study of our inner world, and the power of language. And many of our past sessions are recorded and shared on our Facebook or YouTube page, so listeners can feel free to watch them there.
These are really wonderful programs within LA initiated by Online Tibetan Education, and I'm sure during this pandemic you must be having more viewers who are watching all these programs, right?
Yeah. Yep.
For this month of Sagadawa, I know that you have this very special program, like you have mentioned, which is called the Sagadawa Challenge, where you have this morning prayers and where you're collecting mantras from people across the world. And similarly, you have annual in-person retreat. I know that your Sagadawa challenge was already over and it was only till the 15th day of the Sagadawa month. But I'm sure you will be having the similar challenge even next year. Can you tell us how do the viewers, they enroll themselves and be a part of the Sagadawa challenge or any program that you host?
Sure. Yeah, so as an organization, we always try to find creative ways to engage our audience. And we're so glad that the Sagadawa Challenge has been so well received by the participants. So what we did was we created a challenge where anyone could participate by simply just sending their daily counts for how much time they spent meditating. So our main purpose of this challenge is simply just to make our Buddhist practitioners more aware of Sagadawa and to motivate one another to perform good deeds during this holy month. And over the 15 days, we had 18 participants overall, and we exceeded most of our goals. We actually logged over 9,000 prostrations, which went almost 400% over our OTE goal this year. As for our annual Mindfulness Retreat, this is our only in-person program, like you said. We've been hosting this for the past 7 years, but last year, due to COVID, we had to move it virtually. It's a 3 to 4 day retreat, and we curate a program for Tibetan youth and Tibetan young professionals, focusing again on our 3 pillars, Tibetan Buddhism, culture, and language. We usually begin signups around August, so if anyone is interested in being a part of it, they can just stay updated on our Instagram or Facebook to learn more about it.
You said that you had about 18 participants for the Sagadawa challenge. So how they were connecting with you, how they were sending their mantras, how they were sending the number of prostrations?
What we do is on a daily basis, we were sending out these templates, and every day we were just keeping it fun and different by changing the color theme and adding a different quote or Tibetan proverb. Every morning we would just share the template, and at the end of the day, anyone who's participating, they can just send us, take a screenshot of the template and then just fill in their counts, and then we, accumulate all of that from all of our participants.
Within Essence, this program has been there for more than a decade and is very active on social media. I know that Online Tibetan Education is not just meant for the Tibetans, but it is also meant for the non-Tibetans who are interested in Tibetan culture, language, religion. But what I have noticed is that Online Tibetan Education has always emphasized its target to reach the Tibetan youth. So within that, can you tell us the participation of the Tibetan youth and the responses that you have been receiving from them?
As one of the younger members of the group, I aim to reach out to more Tibetan youths like myself who want to stay in touch with their roots and identity. Since we began our Instagram account, we've been seeing a rise in followings from youth ranging from the ages of 25 to 34 from cities all over the world, from cities like New York, Toronto, Dharamsala, Delhi, and Kathmandu. And the responses have been great. We've seen more youth attend our Zoom sessions, and we've had many followers who are Tibetans of Tibetan ethnicity and also Tibetan of mixed heritage who have appreciated the fun, easy, and educational content that we continue to create and share on Instagram. And actually, an example is during Losar, we created a fun way for everyone to participate in Kutuk night, which some of us are familiar with, but many of us are not. What we did was we created a reel where people could simply just stop it and see what object they get, which may signify their personality. So we had amazing feedback and a lot of exposure by simply explaining this tradition and making it fun and accessible. But we do aim to reach out to the Tibetan elders as well through our Sunday Buddhism classes. And we've also previously hosted Tibetan language classes for the Tibetan adults, which is, it's a thing as well, because there are a lot of adults out there who speak Tibetan very fluently, but they may not know how to read. And we also had sessions on how to read mantra led by Lama Pemela. We try to reach our youth as well as our elders as well.
It sounds like a very fun program to me, and I really enjoy and I really like this Guru thing. Being a Tibetan Muslim, I find it very interesting. So it is very interesting to know that at the age of 19, you thought about promoting the Tibetan identity along with your mother and your sister. Unfortunately, there are so many Tibetan youth living in abroad who somehow lose in connection with their language and with their culture, and they are more convenient in speaking in the language of the place that they are living in. So within Lao, what motivated you to take such initiative at a young age?
Sure, yeah. And actually, I was one of them as well. So when my sister and I first came on board, Geshe-lobsang Thargela, one of our founders, he was already hosting online Buddhism class for Tibetan adults. And at that time, I was in college where there were only a few Tibetans and we had no connection to the Tibetan community. And I was realizing that I was starting to forget the little Tibetan that I knew, both spoken and written. With the guidance of Geshe-la and my mom, we began hosting online Tibetan language classes so that many like myself could stay connected to our community and retain our language no matter where we were. And today, what motivates us at OTE is when we see the growing number of Tibetan youth wanting to learn their language, exploring what it means to be a Buddhist, and overall finding ways to stay connected to the Tibetan community. This only reemphasizes the importance and the need for us to continue the work that we're doing. And we believe that as a Tibetan, it's our responsibility to preserve our language, religion, and culture.
Wonderfully said, Vidinla, and I must say that it is always very inspiring to have conversations with Tibetan youngsters like you who thinks about preserving the Tibetan identity, which is actually very important because what the Chinese authorities they're trying to do, they're trying to Sinicize the entire Tibet. And I really hope that there will be more younger generation in the Tibetan community who also takes the similar initiative. And in that ways, no matter how much the Chinese authorities, they try to eliminate the Tibetan identity, they will never succeed in doing so. Thank you so much, Vidinla, for being a part of Tibet TV. It was lovely doing this conversation with you.
Thank you so much, Sakinala. And if I could just take this moment to just thank everyone who has made OTE successful thus far, from the team who has put in so much effort and energy throughout the years, the teachers, guest speakers, lecturers, without whom we would not have been able to offer these robust programs that we have. And finally, the community for being so supportive of our work and initiative. We just like to thank everyone. And as OTE, we will continue to provide these programs, and we hope everyone can continue to support us. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Vidinla. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next episode of In Conversation with Tibet TV.